Hi, you're welcome to another exciting episode of The Nest. Today we're discussing preemies and baby weight. I know this is very familiar for mothers, the graph, Msema Kweli graph. We have with us mothers who actually had the experience of having preemies who often come with low baby weight. At this moment, I would like to just welcome them to the set and allow them to introduce themselves. I will start with you, Lynette. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Lynette August. I'm a mother to one little girl.
Were you born in August?
No.
Okay.
It's a family name.
Okay, oh wow. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wambui.
Thank you. My name is Wambui Kinuthia, a baker and a mother to one beautiful girl.
Nice baking. I smell cakes at this point. I think I'll just go into the hearing your stories of how you ended up being preemie moms. For every mom, no one expects a baby coming earlier, and very often we postpone our shopping and therefore end up being surprised when our babies come earlier. So I'll just start with you, Lynette. Tell me, at what point did you know that you're going to be a mother? What number of weeks? What was the story? What happened?
It was a Saturday evening. I did my chores as usual. Then when I went to the toilet, I relieved myself, but now the water started coming out. But I didn't realize it was my water that has broken at that particular point. So I called my friend. I told her, there's something wrong. There's something that is not right.
I'm seeing a lot.
Yes. Mkojo ishi. So she rushed me to the hospital. We went to the hospital. When I reached the hospital, they did some tests and checks. Told me now you have to be admitted.
How many weeks?
That is 26 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm being admitted and they're telling me, in Kenya, 26 weeks, I'm not actually a baby. But you have to be admitted at this point.
I will stop you there. You're about probably 6 months or 5.
6 months or 5 and something.
Wow, that was very soon.
Yes.
What about you, Wambui?
My pregnancy didn't have any issues. I was having a smooth pregnancy. I did not have morning sickness until around the same time, 26 weeks, when I went for clinic. By then my legs were swelling, but I thought it was just normal pregnancy feet swelling.
Yeah, we all have our feet swelling.
So I thought it was normal, but on reaching the doctor's desk, my blood pressure decided to shoot. It shot really high to almost 180 over, it was really high, as opposed to the normal 120, 140. So the doctor had to admit me, had to run lab tests where he found I had a lot of protein in my urine, and he had to admit me, first of all, so that they would observe whether my baby was still playing, because when I was there at his office, my baby had stopped playing, so he had to monitor and also monitor my blood pressure and put me on medication. So basically I stayed at the hospital for about 2 weeks.
Before you go there, I want to take you back. Why did you go to the clinic? Was it a normal checkup?
Yes.
It was just normal clinical visit.
Yes.
Okay, to my viewer, please don't go away. You want to hear the full story of these preemie moms. Welcome back. Today we are discussing preemies and low baby weight. You may be aware that November is the World Prematurity Awareness Month. Preemies are everywhere around the world, and a lot of information needs to be out there for these preemies and how to take care of them. Very delicate little gifts. So we have with us amazing guests, and even as we discuss with our guests, please keep your comments coming. We'll be still waiting to hear any questions and even your experiences regarding preemies as we go on. So to you, Lynette, actually let me just start with you, Wambui. You were actually telling us before the break that you stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks before the baby came.
No, at around 26 weeks. That's when I went for my clinic checkup, and I was admitted for 2 weeks so that the doctor would monitor my baby and monitor my blood pressure and try to regulate it. Yes.
So you stayed in hospital. The 2 weeks you stayed in hospital, what was happening?
I was under medication. Then they would check my blood pressure in like hourly. So I had a nurse coming to check my blood pressure, and to check whether my baby is still playing. And then when they regulated it at the end of the 2 weeks, they discharged me and I went home.
Oh, so it was actually, the baby did not come. So this is now
Yes.
week 28.
Yes.
Fast forward. How did you get to the baby coming?
After we went home, I would go to work, but I really couldn't work because my body was swelling at a very high rate. So I wouldn't walk to work. I had to take a taxi to work, or maybe have someone drive me to work. When I'm at work, I can't really keep my head in the work that I'm supposed to be doing, either decorating my customers' cakes or delivering them. So we decided that I had to close my work because by then my legs were now swollen to an extent that they did not fit in my shoes.
And you know, the funny thing is that when you see our friends who are pregnant and swelling without knowledge, you think, we actually laugh about it, and we tell those who are not swelling, hey, wewe haujabadilika sana, and we laugh at our friends who have really changed, not realizing it's actually a pre-eclampsia, right?
Yes.
So was that what you were struggling with?
Yes, when it became too much, I went back to my gynecologist, and he told me that what he was diagnosing was that I was suffering from preeclampsia. That was why my legs were swelling, my whole body was puffing up, and the protein in my urine wouldn't go down even when I was put on medication, even when I was told to drink a lot of water. You know, you're told, drink a lot of water, that is water retention, you're just going to lose it when you go to the toilet. But there was something greater happening. It was just not normal pregnancy swelling. Yes.
Eventually, at what point then did you get the baby coming?
He told me, by then it was around 30 weeks. He told me, we can try and push this to around 35 weeks. By then your baby will be bigger, because the scan was showing that my baby was around 1.8 kgs. He told me that might not be the case when we deliver the baby. And it can be very difficult for baby to survive when they are at such a level in their weight. So he gave me steroid shots for my baby's lungs, because we agreed that after then, when I couldn't take it anymore, we would deliver the baby. So I struggled at home at night. I had shortness of breath. Those are just some of the things that came with the preeclampsia. And I wouldn't sleep well. I wouldn't eat anything. The only thing actually that I would put down was ugali and milk, cold fridge milk.
Okay, that's a strange one.
That was not even enough for my baby to supplement, to get enough nutrients. So at week 33, I just went back to him and told him, we have to deliver this baby. He told me, your baby might not survive. I told him at this point, it doesn't matter.
The baby came, and the scan that said it was 1.8 kilos. At how many kilos did the baby finally come at 33 weeks?
When my baby was delivered, she was 1.4 kgs.
1.4 kilos.
Yes.
If you can't visualize that, it's a packet of ugali, the small one, and a half. That's a very small baby. Back to you, Lynette. Week 26, now worried. Week 26, the baby comes. How heavy was the baby at this point?
1 kg.
1 kilo. So ni sasa standard 1 kilo, 1 packet small ugali.
Yes, 1 kg. And you're told they have to reduce. There is no way that they won't reduce. The weight has to go down. So we were 1 kg at birth. In 2 weeks, we are 680 grams.
Drop. After that, tell me about the journey of the weight. 1 kg
to 680 grams.
Yes.
We struggled. From 680 grams to 1.2 kgs. Took us 3 months.
A journey. What remedies did you use?
Breast milk.
Were you eating anything special in your diet?
No. I was eating kawaida food. Nothing special, nothing, just normal food. And I used to express milk. She was being given via NG tube. Through the nose, straight to the stomach.
That's what an NG tube
is? Yes, the tube goes through your nose to the stomach.
Yes.
That is how she was being fed.
Yes.
So it was 3 months, 680 grams to 1.2 kgs. But we were not even retaining the milk.
Reflux.
She was taking 2 ml, and 2 ml for a preemie mom is a struggle. For a child to take 2 ml is a bit.
Yeah.
2 ml, 5 ml, and she still wouldn't retain anything.
Oh no.
So we used the breast milk. I struggled to express. We expressed until the day they were able to do tests, but it took some time because at 600, but at 1.2 kgs, now we had another 2 months to get to the weight that you can be discharged from the hospital.
So you are in the hospital for how long?
5 months.
Wow.
5 months straight.
Okay, that's a long time. I think at this point I would want to hear Wamboi's story on the weight gain journey. Tell me, the baby is born 1.4, right?
Yes.
How did that progress?
Once a mother delivers, she's supposed to get milk for her child, but unfortunately in my case it wasn't so. After my baby was delivered, the following morning the nurse came and told me, now we need to start knowing whether you're going to get milk
Or not.
so that we start feeding your baby so that she will survive. We tried. My mom would come to hospital early in the morning at 7 carrying flasks of milk, water,
Anything
soup,
and everything.
uji, everything and anything that is supposed to help a mother to get milk. I would eat all the hospital meals that were served to me and have all the snacks, but I didn't get milk for my baby.
Milk came at what point? How many days later?
I didn't have milk until the 6th day.
Okay, that means baby weight is dropping.
My baby's weight dropped from 1.4 kgs to 800 grams.
Okay, now to both of you, I don't even know who to start with. I'll probably just go with you, Wambui. Mothers see you with a small baby and they think it is your fault, even as a mother, even now as your baby is growing. How do you deal with that kind of stigma where every mother is telling you your baby is smaller? How do you deal with that?
It's difficult when you visit places with other mothers, especially mothers who got babies around the same time with. The babies are big. Some, it's now 10 months. Some of them are hitting 10 kgs. My baby is still at 7.1 kgs. I try the best. I know I try the best. I feed her. I give her milk. I give her food. But she's not at par with her peers. Sometimes mothers will talk. Others who are not afraid will ask you, why are you not feeding your baby? Why is your baby so light? Why are clothes not fitting your child? When you go to clinic, maybe the nurse will tell you, why aren't you feeding your child? Why is she not adding weight? Why is she below where she should be on the graph?
So the blame is on the mother.
Yes.
Wow. And tell me, Lynette, what has kept you keeping your head high, knowing that you're doing your best even as a mother?
Because I don't care what people say at first, because I know where she has come from and the struggles she has gone through. It's actually a miracle this child is alive today and I can tell her story. Because even at 5 months we were 2.1 kgs.
Wow. My daughter is actually at around 7.7, but she was born not a preemie, totally full term. And it's totally unfair for us moms to constantly compare the baby weight.
Yes, it's very wrong.
Yeah.
7 kgs, that was her weight when we were, I think, 1 year end.
Wow. A journey. What challenges come on top of your mind when it comes to preemies? In your journey, what are the top most challenges you can probably cite?
You know, most of the time when you're at the hospital setting, you have the nurses there. They'll remind you. They'll tell you maybe it's 9 o'clock, it's time for medicine, or maybe that like three you have to be in the nursery to feed your child. At home, there's no one to remind you.
Yes,
it is you and your baby. And remember, these preemies, I don't know how forgotten the name. At times they forget to breathe. You used to knock them.
I have never heard of that.
Yes, they go back to the rhythm.
Yes,
you knock them. So at night, you're if you are asleep, you're not asleep,
because you need to listen to your child.
Yeah, you have to keep listening.
That's one of your biggest challenges.
Yes, you have to keep listening. And you see, in my case, she had GERD also. So she was vomiting.
GERD, in simple terms,
vomiting.
It's what we would call maybe reflux.
Yes, she would not retain anything. Even after she was on medication, but even at home, she still was vomiting. So when she's asleep, at times it comes through the nose. So you see, if you're dead asleep, something bad might happen.
You barely rest.
So you barely rest. So there's the challenge of the transition. Now what am I going to do at home? This baby is taking medicine with the drops, the syringes. There are times that, because mine didn't even have the suckling reflex. I used to express milk. You have to feed with the bottle or with the syringe. With the syringe, it's quite slow, drop by drop. So it was quite a challenge. That was the biggest challenge, the transition.
I know the challenges are numerous. And back at home, our viewers, please share with us your experiences on the preemies. Remembering that November is we call it World Prematurity Awareness Month. Don't go away, we'll be having our expert joining us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, today we're discussing preemies and low baby weight. On set we have with us mothers who've had the challenge of having babies who came in preemies. We also have our expert joining us to help us on this topic. We kindly encourage you guys to keep sending your comments and experiences through, and any questions that you'd like our doula to answer. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Esther Kimani. I am a doula childcare expert and also a preemie's mom. My second born was a preemie baby.
Aww.
Yes, so I think I can walk in their shoes.
You can relate.
Yes.
So we're actually delving into challenges. So I think you'll also probably even share with them having experienced firsthand. And I'll just go to you, Wambui. Tell us, on top of your mind, challenges that you went through as a preemie mom.
My greatest challenge was the fact that I was not ready for this. You know, in my head, I was supposed to carry my child to term.
Yes.
In my head, I did not know that I would have to rush to the doctor and ask him and actually beg him to deliver me of my baby at 33 weeks. So my greatest problem was coming to terms with that fact that we are here, you've not carried your baby to term, you're not holding your baby on the bed as other mothers, your baby is in nursery. That to me was my greatest problem and my greatest challenge.
Wow, so for how long was your baby in nursery?
We stayed in nursery for a whole month. I thought it was a long stay, but when I shared with other preemie moms, I realized it was actually amongst the shortest stays.
Oh dear, that must have been very challenging. So what happens when you have a preemie and they're in nursery? As a mother, you stay in hospital? How do you feed the baby? What's the arrangement usually like?
The hospital that I was admitted in, they had an arrangement whereby normally they let mothers stay there for four days, but for preemie moms they add you 3 days. So you stay longer for 3 days, then you're discharged. From there you arrange your own, how you'll come to hospital, or if you choose to, you can still stay in hospital, but they advised me to go home because staying at the hospital would be more expensive, since I'd be paying for my bed and paying for my baby's bed, and I was already discharged by my doctor. So I opted to go home and commute daily.
So you're commuting and you have your CS wound and you're nursing a baby who's a preemie and therefore has a lot of delicate situation.
Yes.
Wow.
And I wouldn't even use the usual matatu.
You're using
I had
taxi.
to use a taxi.
So financially, emotionally, you're just worn down.
Yes.
Okay, what other challenge do you go through now, even in the journey when you left the hospital?
My other greatest problem was that I still never got milk for my baby.
You got milk 6 days later, but it wasn't enough.
Yes, it was little. By then they were feeding her 3 ml. We would try and express and pump for over 5 hours, and what we'd get wasn't enough to feed my baby. They were fed in intervals of 3 hours. So whatever we got after so long wasn't enough to feed her.
This expressing?
Yes, expressing and also using hand expressing and also using pumps.
Okay, why do I feel like may she have been doing the wrong method of probably expressing? What is the correlation with little milk?
So one of the things that preemie moms get challenged with is that the production of milk is also very dependent on the baby. We actually call it the baby brain breast cycle. So the baby on the breast suckling is what sends signals to the brain to make milk.
Yes.
So in this case, her baby is in the nursery, so we are lacking one of the most important element for milk production. Then we have stress, because the mother, of course, having the baby in the nursery is very stressful, so that as well can. And then, unfortunately, majority of us don't know how to. Hand expression is the most effective way to hand express, but we generally don't do it correctly. So we actually we're not able to remove milk from the breast because of wrong pumping. So I think it was a mixture of so many things that caused her milk not to come in.
I think we'll have to discuss that on another episode. It's a very important topic because I think very many mothers struggle with low breast milk. Okay, and now you're at home. Now, at what? So you're already supplementing, another cost.
Yes.
And now you're back home. Tell us about the journey.
When we were discharged, my baby gradually gained her weight because we used breast milk supplement, and when we got home, we were discharged at 1.9 kgs. So when we got home, we had to find a way that she would always be fed. So we had to use formula. Formula is expensive. We tried goat milk. Goat milk is also expensive.
We were talking about goat milk. Could you like to comment something about goat milk, cow milk as supplements? Is it safe? Is it recommended?
Not quite for small babies. Ideally, formula is the best next thing if there is no breast milk. But I think she's forgetting to mention that she got a surrogate mother. That is another option.
Okay.
Maybe she can tell us about it.
Please share about the surrogate mother.
Oh yeah, my younger sister was also pregnant at around the same time I was pregnant, but she was before me. She was 37 weeks pregnant when I was 33 weeks pregnant. So on the 6th day she was delivered of her baby so that we could get milk for my baby.
I think that's a success story.
Yes.
What are the risks of mothers who actually allow breast milk availability for another mother? What are
the only thing we look at is if that mother healthy, that she does not have any communicable disease that she could pass for the baby. And I'm so excited that in Kenya funding has been put aside for a breast milk bank, because for such preemie babies breast milk still remains, whether it's from the mother or from another mother, still remains one of the most important meals for a baby. Babies don't reflux it as much as they would the formula. So for her case, because it was her sister and there was the safety that you've looked through, then that was a great way to nourish the baby, and I think that's why the weight gain was also quite good, because it was coming from breast milk, which is well tolerated by the infant.
I think I'm very curious about the bank, because there are mothers who actually lose their babies and they don't know what to do with the milk.
Yes.
So that information out there is very important. Where could people get?
It's the structures are being put in place. This is something very new. And I think this financial year is when the funding has been given in. So it's something very new, but we hope in the year to come, on the next 2 years, it will be up and running, where mothers who have a lot of milk can donate milk to help babies, especially like preemie babies who need the milk.
I think I'll just take you back to the challenges. I'm not sure, Lynette, would you like to maybe add a few challenges on top of your mind regarding preemies? Because I think there's a small discussion even during our break. We're talking about the diapers and the clothes. For these little people, they're just not available. They're half their body.
Okay, the diapers, they don't have like specifically diapers in the market for the preemies, but in the high-end hospitals they are available, but they are very costly. They are there but very costly. So you depend on the diapers, the normal diapers in the market, for the smaller babies. But these babies, when you put the diaper on, it's up to the chest. So you have to fold it. You have to play around with it because the cord is not healed. Actually, preemies take longer to heal their cords. It takes time before it cuts. So you have to play around with it. You have to put it loosely, and if you put it loosely, they'll mess themselves. So you just have to find a way to to play around with it. And then the clothes, the newborn clothes, they're like for a giant. So they dress in them, but they are quite big. But very few places you land these small clothes, because I think the society has not accepted that this is something that is there. Because if they had accepted, we would have diapers for preemies. You go just to the supermarket, normal supermarket, you get your preemie diapers, you get your preemie clothes, the very, very tiny clothes. But now it's still a challenge.
I think I just, maybe even in the interest of time, because you've spoken about the stud coming off a little late, has actually reminded me the issue of the milestones. The fact that these babies come earlier than the baby who's gone to full term. What would you say about that regarding, I think, adjusting their age? Because we tend to judge them harshly to the baby who's actually born at 41 weeks. How do you do that for, mothers with preemies?
So we tell every mother that remember, the brain grows chronologically. The brain does not understand that this baby came early. So if the baby was born, like her baby was born at 33 weeks, it means that the baby was 7 weeks early. So when your baby starts, when the baby is actually 2 months, they're not actually 2 months. They're actually 2 months. They're actually just 2 weeks old, isn't it? True. Because that's how the brain will be. So she will act like a 2 month, even though she's 2 months, she will act like a 2-week-old baby. So you always adjust the age for your baby. If your baby was much longer, and because of that, because the baby did not spend much time in the womb, that baby will have much more challenges than even the 33-week-old. So we'll even add maybe 2 more months, 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks to her adjusted age.
Wow.
So this should follow all the way as you're looking at the milestones, as you're looking at even feeding. My baby was 8 weeks early. So at 6 months, when I'm supposed to be weaning, she was not ready. She was not showing any signs of being ready for food.
Okay.
So we actually fed her at 8 months.
Exactly.
Which is now her adjusted age for how much, for her age from when she was born. And at 8 months, she was ready to eat. So you have to look at different aspects. Some of the aspects, your baby will catch up with their peers. Some aspects, they'll be a bit slow, especially movement, talking, feeding, and all these things. So it's important for the mother to, encourage herself when everyone is telling you your baby is not doing this, but because your baby's challenges, you can adjust the age and then know when to seek help. If now we've adjusted the age, but you're still not seeing the development that the baby should be doing.
Okay, that's comforting for preemie mothers. But the question is, for mothers who go to full term and the babies don't add weight on the normal graph, what are the main causes of that?
So we call these babies low birth weight babies. They were full term, but their weights were not what is expected for that term, for that baby at term. So sometimes it could be anything. The placenta could have failed, so that this placenta that's supposed to be feeding the baby is not actually offering the baby the nutrients. It could be conditions like preeclampsia, the issues that happen, so that because of that, it makes the baby not get enough nutrients. It could be some other unexplained issue, and at some point something happened in the pregnancy and it made the baby not grow. But that's why we encourage people to do clinics, because sometimes it's better to remove a baby earlier than stay in a womb that is not being beneficial for the baby. So when you go for clinics, the doctor is able to tell that this baby is not actually matching their gestational age, the age they are at, and what is the problem, what can we do about it, and early enough, because the longer the baby stays in that environment, it can affect their future growth. When a baby is like that, then we have to look at the mother's milk production. Is the mother able to produce enough milk to help this baby grow? Sometimes they might need supplementation. Sometimes they might need supplements, to increase their iron levels, their calcium levels, vitamin D levels. So all these the doctor will look at. But at the end of the day, the baby has to be fed well and nurtured and taken care of. so that the baby can grow.
What would you say about mothers who supplement literally, like the baby is still young, 1 month, 2 months, and their graph is not going up as it should, and they begin to introduce small food, or is it safe for their gut?
Actually, no. The baby's gut is not yet ready for solids until around close to after 23 to 26 weeks, which falls around 5.5 to 6 months old. So when you feed your baby early with a gut that's not ready, actually that food passes. I always tell that mother, if you gave porridge, you can tell from the diaper that it was porridge.
It makes a lot of sense because it happened to me.
Yes.
I gave my baby a little melon and a chunk was missing. I wanted her to suck in the juice.
Yeah.
The chunk was missing and the chunk was on the diaper.
Yes.
So it wasn't
so the
digested
body
at all.
did not even know what to do with that food. So you're actually messing up that gut.
Oh, dear.
And that will bring lifelong implications.
Okay.
That's why we say do breast milk supplements. If you don't have enough breast milk, follow up with your doctor. Sometimes get help from a lactation specialist. They'll come home and actually see how are you breastfeeding this baby. That's a whole other topic. But there first let's work with breast milk. What can we do with this breast milk? Sometimes you might express the breast because the baby is not feeding efficiently at the breast. You can express and give the baby express breast milk, and that baby catches up without even having to do formula. Then if that doesn't work, then we do formula. But formula, at least until the age of 4.5 to 5 months, is the safest food. I mean, it's the next best thing if you do not have breast milk. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Going back to the preemies, preemies are becoming very common in our day-to-day life today. When we look back, it seemed not to have happened to our mothers. Is there something about our lifestyle, our diet?
Oh yes, our diet, our preconceptual health. So before you actually conceive, most of us just go along, then, I'm pregnant.
Yes.
But we need to become very intentional so that you start taking care of yourself before you conceive. For men too, by the way, not just the women. The quality of sperm can make a baby unhealthy through and lead to premature health.
Very important.
The quality of your eggs.
Yes.
So making sure you're eating well every day so that in case you become pregnant, this baby will actually come to term.
Yes.
There's also now how you actually carry out the pregnancy, making sure nutritionally you're trying to meet your demands. Again, preconceptually, exercise, keeping your weight under control. So many things, exactly. So unfortunately, our preconceptual health bears a big influence to our health during pregnancy. But for like preeclampsia, for example, sometimes no one can explain. You can be very healthy, but it suddenly comes. But things like gestational diabetes can actually be directly influenced by how the pregnant woman is eating. If she's eating lots of sugary foods with fries and she's actually on her way to getting gestational diabetes, which is another factor for premature labor. Lack of actually following your pregnancy closely, going for clinics, making sure that you're keeping your clinics, that the doctor is closely following your pregnancy. So sometimes many women don't do their clinics. They say, see, I feel fine, so why should I go?
Is there anything to do with age? Like if the older I am?
Yes, definitely, because your eggs are as old as you are. So
are you saying my baby is old?
Yeah. So when your little girl was born, she was born with all her eggs. Yeah, you have both girls, yeah? So she was born with all her eggs. So of course in your 20s, your eggs are still very young. So they will carry a healthier baby. Okay, not to say that they won't be healthy, but they're more likely to. They're good quality eggs.
Yes.
As you age, that as well. Then of course as we age, we also get predisposed to these other diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes and all that, just because of age. So if you already are predisposed to that before you get pregnant, then there's more likelihood that you're gonna get this. So again, we encourage women. I know you want your career, but balance it out. Have your children early enough. Not to say that the older women can't have their children, but yes, that is a proven fact. The earlier you get your babies, the easier the pregnancies are.
Before I ask my last question, I would like to remind our viewers to please continue sending in their questions. I'm not sure if our guests have any questions for our doula, but the question that I have on top of my mind, I don't know why it just slipped. It slipped out of my mind, I think.
Maybe as you remember that,
Yes.
I'd like to encourage, I'm sure they did kangarooing. Did you do kangarooing?
Yes, that's a very important
Yeah.
one as well.
So kangarooing is when you place your baby's naked body against your own naked body, and the baby stays on you. You incubate the baby for at least 20 hours a day, and that
20 hours.
yes, it's a long time. Yeah.
So even as you sleep.
Yes, even as you sleep. So when this baby, especially when they come now from the incubator, when they are breathing on their own, we put them now on our chest, and you incubate that baby. And what will happen, those babies add weight much faster. She talked about the fear of breathing, baby stopping to breathe. We call it apnea. Babies actually do stop, but when they're on their mother's chest,
I thought we imagined.
yeah, no, it's there. So when they're on the mother's chest, the heartbeat, because the baby's hearing the heartbeat, that actually regulates their own breathing. It regulates their temperature. When the baby gets cold, the mother's temperature goes up to heat the baby. When the baby is too hot, the mother's temperature goes down. So for any mother who is having a preemie baby, please, if you want that weight to increase, kangaroo that baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last question that was actually slipping my mind was about what advice would you give a mother in less than a minute who wants their baby to get back in regards to adding weight on the normal graph?
I'd say seek help.
Okay.
Don't just guess.
Yes.
Seek help.
Yes.
If you're breastfeeding, sit with a lactation specialist. They will come up with a plan, or with your pediatrician.
Okay.
If they're already eating food, sit down with a nutritionist.
Yes.
This food, it might be food, but it's not being nutritious food that actually makes your baby add weight. So seek help.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So please don't walk alone. Seek help, and do not allow to be judged because of your baby's weight. As long as you're doing the best that you can, remember that you're the best mom for your baby. Don't go away. We are going to be back for the exciting section of fashion. We've been having an amazing discussion regarding preemies and babies with low weight. We have amazing moms who shared with us their stories, and we have an expert who's given us so much insight. Now onto the fashion segment. Today we'll be sharing with you tricks to dress your low baby weight baby. So I think I'll ask my viewers, not my viewers, please keep the comments coming through on tricks that you use to make your babies look healthy. However, I'll just Lynette share with us, Wambui share with us tricks. What tricks did you use to make your baby look bigger?
I used to buy like cotton woolen clothes. Woolen clothes look puffier. So I cannot overdress a child, because if they sweat too much, it's now a problem.
Yes.
So I used to buy those heavy woolen clothes. When I put her in it, she looks very big.
Oh, nice one. Nice one. What about you?
I would actually put a sweater inside instead of putting it on top of her, say her other dress or other t-shirts and other things. I would put it inside,
The polo neck.
such that especially the polo neck, such that she looks bigger. She doesn't have to wear the coats and the sweaters that people will see or that will be removed by someone. So I would put them inside.
So she's stuck. What about you, Esther?
I am for, she's tiny, yes. Dress her to look nice, make her look good, and even though she's tiny, she's gonna look good. So go with your baby. But those are excellent tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, deal with it. The baby is
Exactly.
mine.
My baby was tiny and she would wear her tights and her dress and I wore. And here you hear people commenting, that's a very small baby, and you're like, yeah, and move on.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
your confidence. It's been an amazing show for me. I've learned so much. I hope you've also learned as much. We encourage you to continue sharing all your experiences with us. Also, let us know any topics you'd like us to discuss. At this point, I'd like to thank our amazing guests. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much to Esther, our expert. It wouldn't be the same without you guys. I'd like to thank the guys behind the camera, Eastlands Hotel, and I'd also like to thank you, my viewer. Until we meet again, only on CTN TV, I am your host, Gladwell Kameni.